and I'm in my early 20s and I happen to be a doctor, content creator and a property investor, and I want to talk about the struggles of trying to navigate your 20s. Sometimes I feel like I have it all together, other days I feel like I don't know what I'm doing. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing too much, other times I feel like I'm not doing enough. I'm like, should I be traveling? Should I be saving? Should I be investing all the time? Like, what should I be doing? It gets hard, and I feel like when you're in your 20s, it's the first time in your life where you don't do things at the same time as everyone else. Up until this point, you probably went from 1 year academically in school to the next year the same time as everyone else. You probably graduated at the same time as everyone else, or started working at the same time as everyone else. And then once that stops, it's as if life literally goes at its own pace. And like I said, sometimes you feel like you're behind. So I want to share with you guys some of the things that has helped me, if you can relate to anything that I've said in the intro of this video. So let's get straight into it. The first thing is quitting comparison. I realized that you can only feel behind if you compare yourself to something else, right? Because it's a relative feeling. And the reason why I had to stop comparing myself is because I sat down and deeped. We all have different paths. Every single one of us has a different purpose. Every single one of us has a different mission. We're all passionate about different things. And so just because someone has arrived at a destination before you doesn't mean that you'll never arrive at that destination. That destination may not even be relevant to what it is that you have to do in life. And I think it's so easy to look at things on a superficial level and think, okay, it's a rite of passage to do X, Y, Z, without taking into consideration that that rite of passage may not be relevant to you. It may not be of benefit to you. It may not give the character or the skill sets for you to be the person you need to be for whatever purpose it is that you're trying to achieve in life. A really good example of this is it's cake. We have different types of cakes and they serve different purposes. On the surface level, you could argue that they are just cake, but when you go to the intricacies of it, we've got red velvet, we've got sponge cake, they're made differently. Realizing that each of us have been made differently for a different purpose has helped me not compare myself to other people and has helped me embrace navigating my 20s without feeling as though I'm not behind. The second thing that has really helped me is guarding my heart, guarding all of the inputs into my soul. That sounds so deep, but like making sure I am super mindful of the things that I put inside of me, so the things that I'm seeing, the things that I'm hearing. And in order to do that, one of the things that I'm super mindful of now is social media. I have a timer on my phone. Once my 15 minutes is up, and the reason for that is if you feed yourself something constantly over a period of time, depending on what it is that you're feeding yourself, it could have positive effects or it can have negative effects. It's so easy to forget that social media is a highlight reel. It's a marketing channel. As a consumer, you are consuming the things that you are being sold. When you forget that someone is trying to sell something to you, you can begin to normalize that everyone goes on holiday 10 times in a year. Everyone has access to a flashy car, or everyone has, a high paying job, or everyone has an Airbnb business. Like all of these things, you can begin to normalize and forget that actually in the real world, there's only a certain percentage of people doing X, Y, Z. And by guarding what I see, by guarding what I hear, it has helped me to stay grounded, it has helped me to stay realistic, and it has also helped me compare myself less and to stay focused on actually moving forward with my own dreams and not doing something for the validation of others or for like cutting out social media or minimalizing it or using it to your advantage has been a game changer. And I always say this to my friends, I'm like, my offline life needs to be better than my online life, because if it's the other way, then something is wrong. The third thing that has helped me whenever I feel like I'm behind is reflecting. I'm gonna share a story with you to help really illustrate this point. So I love cars, and there was a man driving my dream car and he parked up, and I wanted to ask him what he did for a living and how he was able to afford my dream car. And when I was speaking to him, he basically shared what he did and that a lot of years of work had led to the point that he was at. It was a game changer for me. It's so easy for us to want something in our 20s that people have in their 50s. Bear in mind, they have had 30 years of work, 30 years of experience, 30 years of compounded skills that has allowed them to have the lifestyle that they have. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with getting it earlier. I'm not saying that it's impossible to get it earlier. I've read books There is a good book called Millionaire Fast Lane if you're interested in accumulating wealth quite quickly. But what I'm saying is that most people use their lifetime to build their quote-unquote dream life, which we see as something to aspire to. And another thing that encounter reminded me is the power of time. I think it's so easy for us to forget how much progress we've made when we haven't arrived at our dream destination. So his dream destination could potentially be the fact that he's able to drive my dream car whenever he wants, right? But he has done things up until that point that allowed him to know that he was progressing. And the same thing is with us. If we look back, or if I look back to my life, I am not the person that I was last year. I have evolved, I have developed, I have achieved things that my younger self would be super proud of me achieving today. And practicing gratitude journaling and reading my old journal entries helps me stay grounded and reminds me that I may not be at my destination yet, but it doesn't mean that I will not get to my destination. And I need to commend myself because I'm not in the same position that I was at a few years ago. And so this is my reminder to you. If you're ever feeling like, oh my goodness, what the heck am I doing with my 20s? Remind yourself that you are so much more further ahead than you were this time a couple of years ago. And the last thing that has helped me is reminding myself that authenticity wins always. I read a book and the book was basically saying that in anything, your unique selling point is yourself. And it's better to live a life that is true to you than living a life that pleases other people. And I think that's so true. I always remind myself that regardless of how hard navigating your 20s may be, it's better to navigate it in a way that's authentic to you than doing it in a way that you'll hate in 10, 20, 30 years down the line. And that's why I commend people who quit jobs that they don't like, or they pursue passions that make no sense to other people but make them feel alive. And I've also realized that as long as you're living your life that is authentic to you and authentic to your dreams, the things that you care about, who cares? Like, who cares about other people's opinion? Their opinion is an opinion, it's not a fact. It doesn't matter. In 10 years' time, will you remember their irrelevant opinion? Chances are you won't, but you will remember the moment that you chose to live a life that was not authentic to you, and as a result, you're reaping the consequences 10, 15 years down the line. I do think that when you are in your 20s, it's the best time to explore what authenticity even means to you. Like, what does that mean? What do I like? What do I not like? What do I care about? What is a passion project? Do I even have a passion project? What kind of friends do I want to have around me? Like, I think embracing my authentic self and being unapologetic about the things I care about. And my last point is around authenticity and time. So as a doctor, I had the privilege of meeting people from different backgrounds and of different ages. So when I meet people in their 90s, I'm like, firstly, what lifestyle hack can you give us to be able to live to the age of 90? But also, what life advice do you wish you knew sooner? And a lot of them say that they wish someone reminded them that they had time. Time is something that I guess in your 20s you feel like you don't have, especially when you're a high achiever and you've got big dreams, and sometimes your dreams feel bigger than you, especially if you come from certain backgrounds where certain things just don't seem achievable. However, they have always reminded me that there is time, and being authentic along your journey adds up. And authenticity means doing something that's true to you. So if it doesn't feel right, don't do it. And to back this up, I had a conversation with one of my friends recently, and she was sharing with me about a really successful entrepreneur who didn't have a plan, but knew that they wanted to be super successful, had a rough idea, didn't know how they were gonna get there, but just did what felt right in the moment. And now they have a really fulfilling life based on the things that they care about and they are interested in. So yeah, so I'm passing those words of knowledge to you guys. We have time. We have time to figure it out. In your 20s is about figuring out what you like, what you dislike, what your passion projects are, if you even have one, who you're trying to become, and that's what makes the journey so beautiful. It doesn't have to be stressful. It's only stressful if we put the pressure on ourselves, but we need to remember to take the pressure off, because at the end of the day, it's all going to work out. So yes, that is the end of my TED Talk. If you guys have any other points, please drop them in the comments because I would love to read them. And I will link a video to the end of this video, which I think you'll enjoy. Otherwise, I will see you in my next one. Take care. Bye.